Construction is my least favorite part of real estate investing. Some people really enjoy all the befores and afters, but I can tell you, that ain't me. And unlike most people, I've actually never renovated a house on my own. Some people start out flipping houses or buying rentals and doing all the renovation themselves so that they can save some money. Well, for me, I knew right from the beginning I wasn't gonna do that, and I needed to figure out how to find good contractors to do it for me. And so in today's video, I'm gonna give you all the best tips and tricks for finding good contractors and also managing them so that your property can get done as fast as possible and for the best price. If you're new to my channel, my name's Ryan Pineda. I'm a real estate investor here in Las Vegas. I've flipped hundreds of homes, I've bought hundreds of rentals, and I also own multiple businesses doing millions a year in revenue. If you wanna learn about all the ways I can help you out, go to ryanpineda.com. Now, before I tell you about all the ways to find contractors, let me just say that you are always going to be looking for contractors no matter what level you're at. I don't care if you're brand new, just getting started, and you've never done a flip. You're obviously going to be looking for contractors. Or you might one day be like me, where I've got 60 active flips going on right now. Over 30 of those are being renovated as we speak. And so when you're in my position, you're constantly looking for new contractors because you have so many different projects going on. And also the reality is with contractors, you're gonna have turnover. Unfortunately, there might be a contractor you use for years and then all of a sudden something happens and they're just not gonna work out anymore. So my point is, even if you have a great contractor right now at this very moment, always be looking for new ones because you're never gonna know when you need them or when you're gonna level up and start buying more properties. Now, if you are looking for contractors, one of the best ways to do it is by going directly to Home Depot. What you're gonna do at Home Depot is head over to the Pro Desk. Now, if you ask them for any of their contractors, a lot of times they're gonna have people they recommend that have an agreement with Home Depot. But what I would do is hang out at the Pro Desk for a few hours and see all the people that come in and out buying stuff. And if you want this to be really effective, come very early in the morning because that's when the good contractors are buying their stuff. From there, just strike up a conversation with everyone that goes through that line and ask them what they do. Odds are you're gonna get some general contractors who do a little bit of everything, or you're gonna get some people who are specialized in one trade. You should be getting all of their information and building up your list. Now, when you're approaching these contractors, let them know from the beginning that you are an investor. You see, there's a big difference between what they charge for somebody who's retail versus somebody who's an investor. For retail, they know they can charge way more because it's only gonna be a one-time event, and that client's probably gonna be a lot more headache. For the investor, they know that they'll be getting a lot of deals from them, especially if they're buying a lot of properties. They also know that the quality doesn't have to be as good as the retail buyer, and they know the investor is gonna want a discount on the work. And here's the thing, not every contractor is gonna wanna work with investors. There are some who would rather do less jobs and do them for retail people and make more. For some, they'd rather work for investors, knowing they're gonna have continuous work and that they're gonna make more in the long run. So just be upfront with any contractor you talk to, whether it's at Home Depot or whether it's through one of these other ways I'm gonna tell you about. Another great way is through something I call dumpster driving. What you would do is drive around neighborhoods that you know a lot of construction is being done in. Typically, this would be in older neighborhoods because those are the homes that need renovating. So every time you drive around, anytime you see a big dumpster outside, that tells you that somebody is renovating that home. Now for me, I immediately just get out and I go knock on the door and introduce myself. I'll say, hey, my name's Ryan, I'm a real estate investor here. We're doing over 100 deals a year. Are you looking for more work? If they say yes, then I say, great, can I get your information? And oh, by the way, would you mind if I just tour this house to see your work? And honestly, every single time I've done this, I've never been rejected. They always let me tour the house because they want to get more work. And that's actually another side tip for any of these contractors that you're interviewing. If you're able to go see their work in person, definitely go do that. If not, then make sure that you get some pictures or some references from some of their past clients. Just because a contractor says they can do one thing does not make it true. You need to see some evidence from either other people or right in front of you if you're at the job site, or some before and afters with pictures. But probably the biggest way I find contractors is through referrals. Now for me, anytime I'm looking for new contractors, I'll just post on social media and say, hey, looking for some new contractors, anyone knows somebody who's looking for consistent work on some of our flips, definitely send me a DM. And by doing this, I'll get DMs from people who know other contractors, and then it just opens up the door to interview these guys. But I really like the referral method because if somebody is willing to put their name on the line on behalf of somebody else, that means they must trust them pretty good. I can tell you, I ain't vouching for anybody that I don't trust, because if they don't do what they're supposed to do, it makes me look bad. And so for that reason, I really enjoy referrals when it comes to construction. So I would utilize social media to let people know you're looking for contractors, or start networking with other real estate investors and ask them for referrals. Now, going this route's a little dicey because real estate investors typically don't want to give up their contractors, especially a guy like me where all my guys have been working with me for years and they're always busy. I can definitely tell you, I'm not giving you my contractors. I don't want them working on your job and then it's delaying my job. So going straight to another real estate investor is probably not the best thing to do. But if you go and reach out to realtors or title companies, that could work because they don't really need the contractors for themselves. Now let's talk about some tips when it comes to managing contractors. First thing I would say is show up on site at least twice a week. The worst thing you can do is just say, hey, go fix up the house. You never show up. Then you come back a month later and you see that nothing has gotten done and you've paid this guy a bunch of money. By showing up at least twice a week, you are now going on site. You're able to see if things didn't progress from the last time you were there. And also the contractor is going to know that you are showing up and you're checking in on them. So it's gonna make them want to work harder and get things done quicker. Another tip that's really important for managing contractors is to stay ahead of them. So what that means is you never want to pay for more than what's been done at your project. If I've paid a contractor $20,000 and he only has done $5,000 worth of work, we got a big problem if they quit. So you definitely don't want to do that. And this is why I highly oppose ever doing a big upfront payment to a contractor. I see some people who are like, okay, just pay me 50% upfront and then you pay me the rest when I finish. I would never do that. If we have a $50,000 job, there's no need for me to give you $25,000 when you haven't done anything yet. And in fact, most of the work that you do initially doesn't even require money, it's just labor. You really only start needing the big bucks when you start ordering materials like floorings, kitchens, counters, bathrooms, and those types of things. So you want to spread out your payments so you're constantly keeping up with them and not paying them too much. And I'll tell you this because I've personally been burned multiple times. I overpaid a contractor, they might have mismanaged the money, and now they can't finish the job, and so they quit. So make sure you're being very careful with how much you're paying somebody relative to what they've done. Another thing you need to do is when you hire them and you sign the contract, make sure there's a detailed scope of work. A scope of work should include everything line by line with what exactly it is you're buying. I've had it happen in the past where it was a very generic contract that said, hey, the contractor is gonna renovate the kitchen, the bathroom, the flooring, and it's gonna be a flip. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, great. It's gonna be a certain level of quality. These things are getting changed. Here we go. Well, as it turns out, when the project is done, there's all these things that were not up to my expectations. Maybe they used cheaper cabinets or countertops. Maybe they got a really cheap flooring, or even little things that you don't think about that you would normally change in a flip, like light fixtures or light switches are not changed now because the contractor is trying to save money anywhere they can. And because the contract is so vague, they're not in the wrong. The way to avoid this is by just getting everything on a scope of work. In fact, I've created a scope of work that my company uses that we give to contractors. We'll walk the property ourselves, we'll fill it out as we go through it, and we'll say, hey, here's everything we want done. Here's what we think it should cost, but you can go bid it out for yourself and tell me what you think. And with this scope of work, we also have a contractor's guide we created, which tells them exactly what materials we want, what kind of finishes, what colors, everything, so all of our flips look the exact same. And for us, this makes it very simple on what was agreed upon for what they need to do. And on a side note, I actually give all my coaching students everything I've created for my own business, like this scope of work, like this contractor's guide, and many other things in my coaching programs. And so if you want those documents and you want to be coached directly by me, head on over to futureflipper.com after this video and apply for a call with my team. It's completely free. But I'll say one of the biggest questions I get from people when it comes to construction is, should I hire a general contractor or should I sub everything out? This is really gonna be up to you and what your preferences are. Obviously, if you get a GC, you're gonna pay a lot more because they are getting paid to carry the liability, they're getting paid to manage all the subs, and it is less work on your plate. On the other hand, if you've got the time and you sub everything out yourself, you're gonna save a lot of money. For my company, it's impossible to sub everything out because we just have too many projects going on. But when I was just getting started, I did go that route so that I could try and get my costs down to be as low as possible. So it's really about which route you wanna go and where you're at. But anyways, I hope you got a lot of value out of this video. If you did, do me a big favor and subscribe to this channel, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.